Hello everyone, it's Charles Fockaert on October 11, 2018. I welcome all of you. In my previous video I said that this is an on-the-road series, and in my previous video I said that I tried to check my oil while I was in a turnout about an hour from Alamo, Nevada, and the dipstick tube broke. So I got that problem that I got to repair. It's not leaking oil or anything, and I checked it before I left Ely, Nevada, and I have oil. I have enough oil in my crankcase, in my oil pan, so I'm not worried about that. But also I got down the road a little further, as I mentioned, and I had another problem. That was the fan clutch went out. So that was on Monday. We ordered the part on Monday, and I'm traveling with my buddy, the mechanic, Jeff. And we ordered the part. He said it'd be here Wednesday morning. I went down there Wednesday morning, which was yesterday morning, and the guy was sitting at the counter. And guess what? The part didn't come in. And we got to talking about that, and he told me, and this is what some of you people don't get yet, you Judeo-Christians that come on here, and all you others that are called, any one of us that point out these little details. I've been saying since I got back here in 1999, the United States is a third world country. But anyway, the fella down here, he's a white guy, and he said, well, it didn't show up. It wasn't on the truck, and he said, you know what? There's not a white guy that works in that auto parts supply house where I order my parts. You know, and this happened to me in Pocatello when I was working with Mr. Toxic, and they forgot to put the head on the truck, or the truck they sent the head to the wrong store. So it took another day. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but folks, you multiply this all over the country, and as more and more non-whites get hired to do the job that the white men used to do, we're going to have, and that's going to cost us money, time and money. And I had to sit here for another day. Twiddly-dee, twiddly-dum, because some non-white guy doesn't know how to put a box on a truck. We're a third world country, folks. We could go into the debt and everything else that supports the evidence that I have that we're a third world country, but that's not the point of this video. So I come back here to where I'm parked in the old truck stop, and I've been traveling with this buddy Jeff. And I want to background you. I came down from Montana and went to where he was in Glens Ferry, and I said, I will wait for you until you can travel with me. He had to go to the VA hospital up there, and so I helped him. I spent a whole day doing one project with him, and then I spent another whole day moving a pickup truck so he could consolidate his stuff. So I also paid him. I paid him well to come up and fix my RV up there at the Craters of the Moon Monument. I paid him to do some other work on the vehicle. I was working with him, but I paid him well. He never complained about the payment I gave him. And I bought him some lunch, and I think we went out for dinner. So anyway, I've been taking care of this guy, and he's taking care of me, right? You got the picture? So I get back over here, and I indicate to him that, hey, the part didn't come in. So what do you think he did? Well, I was very disappointed with what he decided how to do. Now, you know, I'm a big boy. I'm not going to whine here. I'm a big boy. I've been up the mountain a couple times. But I just thought, you know, hey, one more day, buddy. You think, you think he'd hang around? No, no, no. I ain't gonna stay around here no more. I ain't gonna listen to this noise. Blah, 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 blah. And he's the one that's been scoffing at me. In his eyes, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm talking about anything. And I don't know if I went into it last video about the Holocaust. I mentioned the Holocaust, and he says, you're never going to convince me that the Holocaust didn't happen. I said, even if I show you the evidence, and he says, can it? So I canned it. And then that would have been Tuesday morning. So Tuesday we didn't talk with each other. Wednesday this happened, and Wednesday morning about 9:30, he packs her up and takes off. He says he's going to go to Overton. He'll see me down there. Look him up. But the little kicker here is that I loaned him money. I loaned him money last week so he could leave a week earlier. See, I helped him by loaning him money so that he could buy fuel so we could get down to where I am now. And he said, well, I get my money on Wednesday, which was yesterday, which was the same day that he left. So do you think he mentioned anything about the money that he owed me? Charles, I know it's Wednesday. I told you I was going to pay you back on Wednesday, but I can't withdraw more than $300 out at a time, and I need the money. He didn't say anything. He just took off. Didn't say anything about the money he owes me. And I'm not surprised, but I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed because I thought I had a guy that I could depend on. But I'm glad that this happened now because it gave me a heads up about what this guy is really like. And the sad thing is that most people are like that. Most people, when it gets right down to it, are not going to sacrifice for you. They're only going to do what's best for them. So that gave me a heads up. What do you think I'm going to do if he asks me next time if he can borrow some? He's broke. He's absolutely freaking broke. He's living from his check to check every month. He's got higher overhead than I do. He even said he's going to have to go down there and not spend any money for the next 6-8 months because he needs to put some money. He has a credit card debt that he needs, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I think this has been a two-way street. I've been helping him with the resources I have, my time, etc. I've been trying to educate him about economics. We had a talk one day. Maybe I mentioned this already. I said, Jeff, you're very good in your mechanics, but I want to tell you that I think I know as much about economics as you do mechanics. And he thought I could see him thinking about that. And but see, he doesn't give me credit for anything, folks. Not a thing. I don't know anything. I'm stupid in his eyes. That's the impression he gives me. Because I don't know how to fix the mechanical things on this RV like he does. I know enough about mechanics to do my own work when I know what the problem is. But he's able to diagnostic. He's able to diagnose and pinpoint the problem, and we've solved a lot of problems in my RV. Okay, so that's the background there. But here's the interesting thing. About an hour later, I get the phone call, and it's my buddy Jeff, and he told me he was at Paranagat Wildlife Center, which is only about a half an hour from here. He told me he was going to go all the way to Overton, Nevada, and I would meet up with him there, which is about 80 miles away. But I think he got on the road because, see, I told him, why don't we go to, before we stopped here, before we were going to have our problem here, before I had the problem here, I said, why don't we stop there at that wildlife wildlife refuge and stay. Oh, no, 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 I can't go. My vehicle's too big. I can't go in there. Okay, buddy, I'll stay with you on the out of here on the highway in the middle of empty lot, sagebrush lot. And another half an hour we could have been down there, which is where I stayed last year. So you get the picture. You can't tell this guy anything, right? But he calls me. I think he started thinking about, well, what a shitty thing he did. He left me back here, and he doesn't want to get all the way to Overton, because what happens if the part that I put on isn't the problem? He's just going to leave me here? Or the part that comes in this morning is supposed to come in here in a couple hours. Maybe it's the wrong part. So we're going to have to get another part from somewhere. My idea originally was to call down to Overton. I know the guy Mike at Napa Auto, and get him to FedEx or UPS the part that I needed up here. It would have been here Tuesday, and we would have been done with this. But see, my idea wasn't very good. His idea, we did his idea, and it didn't work out. But he never wants to admit that he's wrong. And that's the point I've been talking about. There's a lot of people out there that just can't admit they're wrong, and they just can't learn from anyone else.
By pride comes contention. Those people who just can't admit that they might be wrong about something. Those people who just can't admit that they might be wrong about something. Those people who just can't admit that they might be wrong about something.
Anyway, one more thing I wanted to go over, and that is I've had some time here because I haven't been on the road the last 3 days, and I've been looking up on my phone, and I found this SGT report. I think his name is Sean, and an article here: a Venezuelan collapse survivor warns you to be mobile. You may have to leave it all behind. Now, I have another video which I will upload here that I did 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I never uploaded it because I don't want to give the impression that that you need to be doing what I'm doing. But in that video, I suggest that you be mobile. And when I ran across this video, I don't know if you can see it on here, a Venezuelan, anyway, that's it. A Venezuelan collapse survivor suggests you be mobile. Now you say, why? You know, hey, Venezuela is a third world. No, no, no. Venezuela had the highest valued stock market in South America several years ago, and the Venezuelan had the highest standard of living in all of South America just a few years ago. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the collapse that I've been talking about, this reset to reality, is already happening. It's already happening. Little by little, parts of the financial system, the economic system, is beginning to crumble. And this fellow here, he suggests that a walled retreat may not work in the long term. You'll have to do a search because I can't put it on here. And I can't go into all of this, but he's saying that it's probably a good idea, and he says it's probably a good idea, and this is why I suggest an RV. This fellow down there in Venezuela had to abandon his compound. He was a prepper, and he had it all stocked, and he got water, storage, you know, the pantry, the whole thing, a high wall, and he had to abandon it. And this guy says, why do I suggest to prepare an RV camper or some means of off-grid sheltering? I call this the mobile cabin. Mobile cabin. I'm already doing what this fella suggests. Fitting the RV with low consumption devices is now much easier. So, you got your solar panels, you got your batteries, you got the solar panels to charge the batteries. You've got propane, and you can move around. Being mobile would have made things easier. If we could have afforded the RV I had my eye on, we could have sold the city house and bought some plot in a much larger city as an investment for the future. And anyway, I'm not gonna go into this. But one last thing: by traveling in an RV, we could have convinced some local authorities that we are not the negative kind of Margarets, but instead the kind of those who are not dangerous, etc., etc. So, I'm going to come out now and suggest that, if at all possible, you prepare a mobile vehicle that you can live in. Get it all stocked. Try not to buy a 40-year-old RV. Try to buy the newest one you possibly can so it doesn't break down on the road all the time like mine does. Okay? So, that's just a word of the wise. Right now, I don't think is a good time to be buying a piece of property. The prices are too high. When this reset to reality runs its term, you're going to be able to purchase, if you've got the means, you're going to be able to purchase things at a very much lower cost, because everything's been inflated in price because the supply of money, the supply of Federal Reserve notes has been just horrendous. They have flooded the world with their petrodollars. And that's all going to come back here, and I've done a recent video here about hyperinflation. I believe hyperinflation is going to come. They have the powers that be, and put the parentheses around them, the triple parentheses. They have two options. One, they can say, hey, we can't pay the debt, we can't pay it off, or they can create the money out of thin air, which we Caucasians, we Israelites, have allowed them to do for over 100 years now. And they can say, well, we're just going to pay off the debt in inflated currencies. That's why you could have a zillionaire, trillionaire in Zimbabwe here not too long ago. And that's why inflation is estimated in Venezuela to be 1 million%. 1 million. And we can't even comprehend that here in the United States because we're exceptional. We're special. Our country's run by God's chosen, and they've got it all under control. Remember Greenspan, the maestro, and we got people here in the Israelite identity movement telling you that gold and silver are useless.
And if the shit hit the fan and the infrastructure fell and the grocery stores weren't getting food and I had some food and you came to me with gold, your gold's useless to me. Your gold is useless. Gold is useless. When the system falls, gold is useless.
Useless. Well, guess what? It's not useless down there in Venezuela. You can actually survive because people will accept the silver and gold that they have accumulated down there in exchange for the goods or the food that they have, if they have a surplus. You follow this man's advice, you're going to get whacked. Okay? So, it's about all I had to say. The part's supposed to come in today. I've got to decide, what do I do with this fella, Jeff? Do I take offense and I just head to Overton? Or do I stop there at that wild? He said he's going to spend a few days down there because it's a nice place. That's what I tried to tell him, see, but he don't listen to anything I say. So it's been a real challenge working with this guy. I'm going to make up my mind as I head down the road. I covet your prayers. I covet your prayers. I could think of a lot easier ways to live, and this isn't my first choice. So I do covet your prayers. And may the grace of God, our Father Yahweh, may His grace be upon all of us Israelites, for we most certainly need it. See you.